Hey ladies and gentlemen, so what does it take to sell out an art collection? In today's video, I'm joined by the Chief Operation Officer at my NFT marketing agency, Unfungible, who pretty much sold out a small NFT collection in the art space in only 2 weeks of marketing with a $0 marketing budget. In this clip, he's basically going to be sharing what he did to sell out that collection and what you can learn from that.
It's also something I personally always wanted to dabble in and try out, which is generative art. I've always been a big fan, always sort of wanted to challenge myself to try and make a generative art collection, sort of see what I could code for myself. And what's been surprising is, well, I wanted to test three things. Number one, I wanted to test the blockchain, so Tezos. I wanted to test the marketplace, FX Hash, and I wanted to test the community on Tezos, right? So I wanted to test my thesis. Is it really all very generative art focused? And how does it respond to new artists? Is it only established artists that do well? I kept noticing on the upcoming drops list that a lot of drops that were doing well weren't just established artists. It was new artists with zero previous collections minting for the first time and surprisingly doing well. I wanted to test that hypothesis for myself, having always been a gen art fan and always, tried to a bit of experimentation on the side. So on New Year's, this is why it's called Firework and inspired by fireworks. I wanted to try this out. And surprisingly, for a newcomer, for someone without previous work in the space, especially not around generative art, it did well. As you can see, it
Sold out an NFT collection.
yeah, pretty much, which is very surprising for, again, a newcomer, someone who doesn't have that many generative art connections, right? So this was, I guess, what was most surprising for me is Tezos is building a killer opportunity for, I'd say, anyone who's either an art collector or even an artist. So definitely something to check out for collectors and artists.
Up on the next point of conversation, what would you say are the top 3 things you did on your collection that pretty much allowed you to sell this out with pretty much zero marketing dollar?
Good question. I think, well, firstly, because I have noticed a lot of newcomers come in the space, a lot of newcomers, it's actually something not to do or to avoid, which is, how can I put this? Be too aggressive with their experimentation. Like a lot of newcomers, what I kept seeing is someone who just came in, has zero previous collections, zero connections, and coming in with like a 10,000 collection, each for 100 Tezos, which is almost $100, right? So obviously take risks, but collectors tend to see this as a bit off-putting, offsetting, so they tend to stray away from that. So that is number one. Number two, I'd say building real connections in the space. I started interacting with a lot of artists I genuinely felt I connected with, that I genuinely liked their art. So I started connecting with them, learning a lot more about them, collecting their artwork, the ones that I liked. And number three, connecting with collectors, right? So sharing that love of art with other collectors and slowly building, even if it's just a minuscule audience, right? Just building that small audience, that small fan base, even if it's just a couple of people. I mean, that's the difference between starting out a mint, I think, and starting out a mint with like 50 minted out of 150, right? All of a sudden, new eyes see the collection and they're like, oh shit, I need to mint now.
Right. And I think the good follow-up question to that is, so how do you build connections? So sure, number one, don't be too aggressive as a newcomer. Number two, build connections with artists. Number three, build connections with collectors. What was your process of building connections? Were you on Twitter? Were you on Discord? Were you on, calling friends and family? What was your process?
Mainly Twitter and Discord. So following artists I liked on Twitter, interacting with their posts, having post notifications on. That was always helpful. The thing with Tezos is it's still a small ecosystem that even the biggest artists on Tezos have like 5,000, 8,000 followers. So their feed isn't oversaturated with people spamming their comment section, right? So they will generally notice you, at least for now, right? We don't know how fast adoption will come to Tezos. And when it comes to Discord, again, joining groups like Blind Gallery, maybe Tender, maybe even some other Discord groups that are centered around generative art, sharing that love for art or whatever it is that you do, if it's other than art, I think really helps. It helps one build a reputation as not someone who's, just here to throw things your way and hope you're enough of a sucker to, take it in, but who's here because of genuine interest, genuine curiosity.
So you made friends at the end of the day.
Make friends, yes.
Make friends.
Right.
And that was pretty much 2 weeks of work of just you being on Twitter and Discord. So in your case, the collection size was considerably small, 150 pieces. But if your collections just happened to be 1,000 pieces, you would just do what you did 5 times more, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
And depending on price, obviously.
Very cool. Congratulations to you, buddy.
Hey man, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for watching this market update. If you want to learn more how you can build the future of Web3, I'm going to be pinning another video that I think you're going to get a lot of value from right here, and I'll see you right there. Ciao.